How in the world are we going to persuade and influence to these results? Now, y'all have heard me teach strategic seduction. Today, I'm going to give you the mini strategic seduction, then we're going to focus our time on persuasion and selling. Because I don't give a shit who it is. Could be Pam, could be a new prospect, could be a fit pro trying to come up in your program. It doesn't matter. Could be a conversation with your wife and persuading her back into the game. Right? Doesn't matter what it is. Like in the game called your life of having it all, you had better learn how to communicate a message, and you had better learn how to close people to action. So I'm going to have you consider that marketing and selling itself has been the most ancient of skill sets ever created. Jared, we rolling? All right. Ancient of skills. This is what we're recording this shit before we can throw it up in the armory and know how to keep repeating this thing over and over and over and over again. So panic record, man. You're going to be all right. All this shit's going to be up in there for audio, text, outlines, video, and a couple hand jobs for you to make sure you're good while you do it. All right. Little virtual hand jobs. Okay. No, wait, we're going to stop there. We're going to stop there. We got some other stuff we already recorded this week, email training and some other stuff we did earlier, email marketing, copywriting, and stuff like this that we trained on earlier that's also going to go in the armory. So this idea of strategic seduction became this concept for me. Was how was I going to seduce a parent, aka in Joel's situation, to fund a program for the kids? How was I going to seduce a kid to actually start behaving in a way that gets him what he wants out of life? How am I going to operate now from I'm used to doing physical brick and mortar shit at my gym to virtual training with somebody and selling virtual programs? Ultimately, everything I'm doing is about persuasion and influence. And the people who can persuade and influence the best are the people who get paid and have it all day long. How many got kids under the age of 10? How many know that strategic seduction is a must when it comes to your kids? How many know that it's a lot easier to attempt to try to just force shit? Yes. So it doesn't matter. When I am with my children, I'm thinking through the same thing 80% of the time. 20% of the time, I'm like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm going to lock you in your room. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to lock the doors on the outside so you cannot get out. But the rest of the time, when I'm actually trying to get results that will last, it always comes down to strategic seduction. And then what I'm going to do on this board, which is strategic selling. What do I do once I get somebody who says yes to the commitment? When somebody says yes to me. So we're going to review real quick strategic seduction. We're going to go through this as a group conversation. You're going to teach it. You're going to converse about it. And then we're going to introduce some new stuff I haven't trained on in Warrior ever. I talked about it once in an audio training before, but this is how I sell. It's how I think through selling. Closing my wife, closing my kids, closing anybody, closing all of you. To be here. I'm closing on you right now to get this shit handled. So that you can actually live this shit. Core, the code, the core, the keys. This is a constant sale for me on you always. I'm constantly trying to fucking reclose your mind. Strategic seduction, strategic selling. To help you see something and do something different. We tend to look at this as just in the conversation to make money because it's one that's measurable for us. We got paid. Okay, so strategic seduction starts off. What's the first step? You remember? Say it louder. That sucks. Say it again. I like it. That was horrible, but we're going to try it anyways. Communicate a message. Now, inside of this is going to have a totally different experience with you today because I'm going to lock it up to the second piece that I haven't trained you guys on. Communicate message, step number one. When I'm communicating a message, I have to communicate a couple things very clearly. Number one, I have to be able to clearly communicate a problem. And linked up to that problem, the pain that is associated with that problem. So one of the first things I'm doing is communicating a message. If I'm Jesus, I'm communicating, hey, there's this law of Moses going on. Guess what? It's really painful for you guys. There's this other possibility. The problem is y'all are like in your heads. I need you in your hearts. In your heads, I need you in your hearts. You're in your heads, I need you in your hearts. The problem is you in your heads. Now from that problem comes the possibility. And the possibility is saying, hey, listen, if we could solve this problem, here's what's possible for you. Hey, here's a problem when it comes to building your high-end home. Here's what that shit looks like. And if I can more clearly tell the story of your problem and the pain linked up to it than you can, guess who currently has control of the conversation? Me. Or you, whoever it is. Your ability to understand the pain and the problem. The problem being here is the obstacle in the way. The pain being the consequence of cascading effects in your life because of the fucking primary problem. Here's what's going on, primary problem. And guess what? Did you know that that problem is causing bam, 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 bam. It's easy for us in persuasion because guess what we're going to link it up to? Right here. Wherever your primary problem is, if it's in business, guess what? I'm also going to talk about the pain of the problem in your business and how it's affecting your marriage, your kids, your connection, and your body. If your primary problem happens to be in the body, guess what I'm going to go after? Your being, your balance, and your business. If it happens to be in your marriage and balance, then I'm going to go after your business, your being, and your body. I'm going to need you to manage the air conditioning this entire time, so keep cranking it up. We got too many big bodies up in here. It's going to get too hot. Okay, so this problem then is step one. So my question for you is, how good do you know, how good do you understand the problem of your prospects right now? How good do you understand the problems, the real problems of your wife or your girlfriend or your children or the women you're dating or the strategic partners you're working with? How clearly do you know their problems? Can you paint their problem better than they can? In this chaos that they live in, can you bring a simple little picture and say, hey, check this out. Is this what's going on for you? Da-da-da-da-da. Holy shit, yes. And are you experiencing da-da-da and da-da-da and da-da-da because of this? Yes. Now I trust you. Now you create the second conversation with me, which is the possibility of paradise. You're telling me this is what's possible if you can solve this shit. Now, if I can paint this new possibility after having gained your trust with having painted the problem and the associated pain to it, then what I've exposed is what I call the gap. And the gap is where the money's made. The gap is where influence and persuasion happens. Without the gap, you are kidding yourself. You're not persuading, influencing shit. You are forcing, manipulating, and motivating. When you can expose the gap in another person's world, in my wife's world. September last Saturday, watched a few mornings ago, watched me coaching my wife up. All I was doing in that call, in that conversation, was exposing the gap. It's like, here's what's up, here's the problem you're facing, here's what could be possible. This was in her business. Once she was in the gap, how did she respond? Very open. If you don't expose the gap, people don't stay open with you, they go closed. And when people are closed, the tendency at this point is not to use strategic seduction, it is to force outcomes. Did you just turn the fan on or did you actually turn the air on? Auto? Okay, cool. Just making sure. Sometimes people just turn the fan on and it gets still hot in here. So possibility then leads to what? I've got to be able to paint the path, aka the roadmap. This possibility is paradise. Okay, what do I mean a roadmap? Well, you got to be able to tell me at some high level that you have a way to take me across the gap. You can take me there. Joel, as a parent, I got to believe that you can take me there. Can you take me to the promised land with my child? You don't even have to convince me of much. You just have to kind of give me an inkling that there's some kind of fucking map that you got that I don't have. You already trust you because you explained my problem better than I could, and you painted a possibility I could never fucking imagine. And now that I'm in that place, I'm saying, dude, how do I do this shit? How do I do this shit? Cool, well, I can do this. If I'm Blake and I'm talking to prospecting realtors, it's the same thing. Here's a problem, here's a paradise. Guess what? I got a map, it's called whoop. And you're like, shit, I'm interested. That's all we're looking for. Hook the interest. Hook the interest. Trust me, it's been a long way coming to get my wife into a place to believe that it not only is exciting, not only doable, but exciting to put on a thong bikini in Cancun with me. I've been working on this bitch for 2 years. 2 years. Love her to pieces. And it has been a fucking nightmare to find that. I couldn't believe it. And it's actually tilted over into excitement on whose part? Hers. Holy shit. And guess what? It all started with message. It actually started with, don't be a fucking asshole. And that was a few years ago. Okay? Now this game over here then, once I have clearly given the path, the next one is the pitch, which is the call to action. What do you want me to do about it? See, I watch people all the time, they're like, well, I'm going to paint the problem, I'm going to paint the possibility, I'm going to give you a roadmap, and then I'm just going to let you assume you know what to do next. You should just know what to do. Oh, now I've done that, that's enough for you to want me to list your luxury real estate. That's enough for you to know that you should just do your mortgage with me. instead of doing the last thing that would actually get it done, which is the call to action. Tell me what to do. You got me, now tell me what to do. I want you to do this. Most messages that are being communicated are vague as fuck. We get on to webinars, blah, 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 blah. We talk about problems, blah, blah, blah. We give the possibilities, blah, blah, blah. We talk about the path, and then how's the pitch? People are weak as fuck, and they dance around it, and they talk too much in the close on a webinar. They do all the talking, and then they re-talk everybody out of buying. So one of the problems in communication constantly is, how clear are you here, and how big of balls do you have here? Can you close on the initial conversation? Because if you can't close here, no goddamn way you're closing over here. The close starts when? In that first message. Your sales and closing and seduction, your persuasion and your pitch initially from first contact to message has already started. Yes, momentum in selling. Grab a paper towel real quick, or a towel over here. Luca was so excited he spilled his Monster Energy drink on Greg's crotch. It was like strategically seducing for some of that. Yeah. Luke was like, listen, dude, hook me up with some free membership sites. We're good. You got a little white? Show here. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? Hold on. I'm gonna give you a little love right here for your ass, right? I'm gonna get a little love.
You're gonna be cleaner than before.
Cleaning this shit right here. Huh?
Damn wow.
That's right. This shit doesn't work out. We're actually introducing the new warrior towels. You guys act today, we're gonna get you 2 for 1. All right. So, problem, possibility, path, and pitch. You will find that your willingness to tell people what to do when you communicate a message will be in direct relationship to the clarity that you have about the problem, the possibility, and the path, and your certainty and belief that what you're talking about actually works. This is why you watch people try to follow this model, but under the foundation, what it is a foundation of bullshit. Anti-code. Not the code, anti-code. The anti-code. It's like pitching shit that you don't really believe in, and we've all done it. We've all pitched shit that we don't give a shit about. We're just pitching it because it helps us make money, and or we're pitching it because it's just something we can fucking pitch. And if we believe in it, cool. But see, our ability to pitch this, and this is why people who don't necessarily believe in what they're selling will distance themselves and their face away from the shit they're selling. Because like, well, I don't want to fucking sell it. I don't want you really know I'm selling that shit. Even though I can follow the same model, we won't put our face on shit that we don't like legitimately believe in. And I've sold a lot of shit I don't give a shit about. Period. Just make money. Shakes. And what's that? Shakes. It's how the foundation of fucking warrior. Marty's first pitch. Hey, welcome to Wake Up Warrior. All you gotta do is buy shakes every month from Visalis, $99. Marty's like, that's a bad fucking idea, and he reversed it around. Can you see the problem, Garrett? Let me paint the possibility for where this thing's gonna go. I got a better path for you. Why don't you go home and think about it and call me back tomorrow? Sure enough, he reverse engineered the fucking pitch on me. And a good thing he did, or we'd none of us be here. Which is always a fun deal. I went from give me $99 to give me $10,000, and it was all your idea. All right, awesome. So maybe in the end I was the fucking master and just seduced the shit. I don't know. So this whole game, communicate message. I want you to turn to somebody next to you right now. If you're right here, Caesar, Rhett, right here behind you. Rob, you're going to swing around and come over here with Marty. Actually, I'm not sure how to play this. You go right here with Marty. Just go ahead and stand up right here with Commander and Chief. And Rob, partner up. Okay, partner up with somebody. We're going to teach 1 minute each person, communicate message. Here we go. First person up. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Teach it up. So, what'll happen sometimes on this is that the air will, we'll just flip on the fan and not the air, and then it's like it gets hot and hot and hot and hot. Cool. Good lunch? It's good. Okay. You're going to close this whole thing out. So, good.
Sending me to go get grounded is what I needed, dude.
Say it again. Say it.
They're just going to get grounded, meditating over there.
Good. Good. Tag team. And I'm going to have you do the same thing out of the beach before you end tonight.
So that's communicate the message. Is that right?
What's up?
CTMRA.
Call to action.
Wow. See, that's all.
Switch if you haven't switched. You grab me with the coconut waters? The coconut waters? Stomach. Go ahead and pull up that other table over there. Sit down with a journal. Just take notes on this shit for you. Okay, wrap it up. Wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. Okay. Assuming we've done that shit right. Okay, and it gets better the more we do it. The more we communicate, the better we get at it. And the more feedback we get from people, based upon how they respond to it, tells us if we're getting closer or not. Right? So I'm doing this first piece, and my whole goal in communicating message is only to get one thing, and that is to get permission, which is capture permission stage 2. Hand in some level, in some way saying, we good? Good. Okay. Raising our hands saying, yes, I like your stuff. Whatever it is. I like hanging out with you. I like the stuff you're sharing online. I like the shit you're giving. Necessary for you to continue to communicate to me. I'm not telling you to fuck off. I'm telling you I want more. I'm not saying no, I'm saying yes. Now I ain't saying yes to the shit you're going to talk to me about way over here. I'm saying yes to the fact that whatever you just called me to action on here, I'm cool with that. I like some more of that. Now people get confused with this. They think this is just an online thing. Well, just get an opt-in. You know, get an email, get a name. This is not an online or offline thing. This is called seduction, period. This is just the capturing of permission in the form of data. And that data could come down to a name, email, cell, address, subscription, and many other forms. Those are the primary.